What is decentralized autonomous organization? One of the most important characteristics of digital currencies is their decentralized nature. This means that they are not controlled by a single organization, such as a government or central bank, but are distributed throughout a network of computers, networks, and nodes. In many circumstances, virtual currencies exploit their decentralized character to achieve levels of anonymity and security that traditional currencies and their transactions do not have. The term DAO refers to a firm that is administered by smart contract algorithms rather than a single decision maker, and traditional company hierarchy. Consider a firm that does not have a C-suite or a non-profit that does not have an executive director, who reports to a human board of directors. DAOs are organizations that can function without a leader and on their own. A DAO's consensus system is built on smart contracts that exist on the blockchain. Smart contracts are essentially self-verifying, tamper-proof protocols that are set up to execute automatically when certain predefined criteria are met. Because of their intrinsic immutability, these algorithms may incorporate complicated sets of internal and external information while eliminating the need for human interaction. DAOs are decentralized because no single party has the authority to override the smart contract algorithms that have been implemented. They are typically governed by a community of stakeholders, with predefined governance protocols aimed at driving the network toward a common economic incentive. One of the most fundamental characteristics of DAOs is that they allow instant trust and transparency for businesses and institutions to collaborate on a similar goal without participants knowing each other. A DAO's rules are recorded on a public, secure, and open-source blockchain ledger, ensuring that no shareholder can overrule them in the future, at least not without a majority vote, and that the organization only works to advance the community's common interest. But how can computer code determine what is best for the organization? To keep a DAO focused and community-minded, the DAO's computer code will use complex economic principles, such as game theory, to align its interests and future direction with its objective. The DAO's shareholders make choices as well by submitting and voting on proposals. Governance tokens are used to cast votes by stakeholders. The greater a stakeholder's token holdings, the greater the significance of his or her vote on the network. Proposals must be authorized by the majority of governance tokens and follow the DAO's consensus rules in order to be implemented. Why do we need DAOs? Decentralized autonomous organizations were established to remove the threat of human mistake and poor decision-making from an organization's governance. DAOs also appeal to investors who want to avoid organizations with central decision-makers, who may not have the best interests and ideals of the community in mind and whose business judgment can be influenced by prejudices. This is known as the principal agent issue in economics, and it illustrates a situation in which the agent, for example, an investment manager, can make critical decisions without much input from the principal, in this case, investors or a corporation. Shareholders or investors may never learn about an unscrupulous agent acting in his or her own self-interest due to the lack of transparency in a traditional business structure. DAOs strive for complete transparency by constructing their organizations directly on a shared, open-source blockchain technology. This makes the organization and all of its decisions fully transparent to all parties involved. The immutability of smart contract algorithms will safeguard the organization's economic and other interests on a tamper-proof shared ledger, where all actions and transactions are recorded and visible to all. This directs the organization toward the common aims of its shareholders. Another additional benefit of DAOs, at least theoretically, is that any stakeholder can have authentic input by submitting improvement proposals using governance tokens. These suggestions will only be implemented if the majority of token holders agree. Regardless of their position within the organization, each stakeholder can make recommendations and vote. Potential advantages of DAO. Early DAO examples show a number of areas where DAOs may provide operational advantages, at least when compared to traditional legal organizational structures. With a few clicks on their mobile phone or a browser-based blockchain wallet, DAO participants can donate digital assets to a DAO and become members. Assets can be moved in a matter of seconds thanks to blockchain technology, and potentially, over time, even in fractions of a second. Digital assets travel freely over blockchain-based networks, slowed only by the rates at which validators add blocks to the underlying data structure, rather than by layers of financial institutions. DAOs, as a result of these qualities, enable diverse groups of individuals to pool funds via the internet, demonstrating capabilities analogous to past blockchain-based token sales, or initial coin offerings, ICOs. DAOs offer a number of possible operational efficiencies, including the ability to pool capital. DAOs also improve group decision-making by delegating it totally to an algorithmic system, or implementing blockchain-based voting mechanisms. Many DAOs are currently experimenting with the latter method, building tools for DAO members to engage in safe digital voting. DAO participants sign a blockchain-based transaction and record evidence of a vote on a blockchain, with comparative voting weights calculated based on capital contributions, ownership balances, or ownership of a DAO's native token. The implications of these capabilities could be far-reaching. First, by making decision-making more transparent, safe, and autonomous, DAOs have the potential to be more responsive than traditional legal bodies. Some disadvantages of DAO. Decentralized Autonomous Organizations, DAOs, are not without flaws. They are a relatively new technology that has sparked a great deal of controversy due to remaining worries about their legality, security, and structural integrity. In its latest issue, the MIT Technology Review reveals that the publication believes it is a terrible idea to entrust key financial choices to the majority of the population. Since sharing its thoughts on DAOs in 2016, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, appears to have held firm, at least in public, on the issue. Moreover, security concerns have been raised by the DAO hack, because faults in smart contracts can be difficult to rectify even after they have been discovered. DAOs can be distributed across multiple jurisdictions, and there is currently no legal framework in place to govern their operations. Anyone who is involved in any legal issues that may arise will almost certainly have to deal with numerous regional laws in a complicated legal system. The future of DAO. Decentralized autonomous organizations allow a community to work together to achieve a common purpose, without the need for a central coordinating authority. DAOs address trust difficulties by encoding its governance rules in smart contract algorithms, to drive the organization toward the participants' common interests. Despite its potential as a new and disruptive organizational structure, DAOs continue to confront security and legal challenges. New investors seeking to participate also lack comprehension, not to mention the technical expertise required to maintain and safeguard the underlying infrastructure and consensus mechanism. The key driving force behind DAOs is their use cases, which will continue to grow as artificial intelligence, automation, the Internet of Things, IoT, and blockchain technology progress. One of its most popular applications is DACs, or Decentralized Autonomous Corporations, which abandon traditional organizational hierarchies in favor of decentralization. Shapeshift, a Denver-based startup that provides worldwide digital asset trading platforms, is rebuilding itself as a DAO. DAVs, or Decentralized Autonomous Vehicles, are another emerging use case for DAOs. DAV, a blockchain-based transportation system, is combining these concepts to create a decentralized transportation network. DAV envisions a future in which smart contracts may be used for common operations such as programming automobiles to drive themselves to the mechanic, autonomously operating taxicabs or ride-sharing services, and allowing vehicles to deal directly with client passengers. Could decentralized autonomous organizations, DAOs, be the way governments operate in the future as economies become more decentralized? It may not be too far-fetched to conceive decentralized autonomous governments in which each citizen is a holder of a national governance token, as has been suggested.